of the post, and it does not look the same as it used to, and it never will.
But here's the thing, that's your fault. That's your fault. Jen, if you look at his car, he's got random scratches in random places. Oh, the stories that car could tell.
Got a lot of character to it.
I need to go look at it out in the parking lot now.
The resale value will be amazing.
Assess the damage.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, well, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the forecast. I will take a look at that car later, though. But tracking the tropics, we are monitoring 5 different areas out there. Now, making our way really just from east to west, we have this wave off the coast of Africa. High chances of development over the next 7 days. Likely could become a tropical depression heading into the rest of the week. Emily is now a remnant low. This is going to be the last advisory we get on Emily, and now it's just going to be fizzling out. So now then we'll turn to 4 areas that we're monitoring. Gert right there in the central Atlantic, really expected to be short-lived, possibly fizzling out heading into tomorrow. And then Franklin could potentially strengthen, track further really towards the northeast, impacting areas just closer towards the Dominican, Haiti, Puerto Rico, and then heading closer towards the Gulf. The biggest update here at that 10 a.m. advisory, we have potential tropical cyclone number 9. Now, we're really not expecting much impacts from this. Really, we're starting to see some of those just closer towards the coast in form of some isolated showers. Rip current risk will be our biggest concern, but potential tropical cyclone number 9 has those sustained winds right now at 30 miles per hour. It's continuing to track really towards the west, heading closer towards Texas and Mexico right for that border, and could potentially strengthen into a tropical storm before making landfall heading into early tomorrow morning. Now, the next name would be Harold. Again, no concerns for us here locally on the Gulf Coast. Our biggest concern will be those rip current risks, so just make sure you're being cautious in case you are heading closer towards the coast. Short-lived, fizzling out heading into tomorrow evening. Now, talking about our conditions here locally, 90 degrees in Mobile, 89 in Pensacola, dew points in the mid-70s, already feeling like 100 degrees in Mobile, feeling like 98 in Pensacola. And over the next few hours, only continuing to warm up, maxing out in the mid to upper 90s, possibly seeing some triple digits for daytime highs for our inland areas. But go ahead and add on about 5 to 10 degrees on top of that. High pressure in place. It's building in some of this heat. It's helping keeping some of that tropical trouble away. But what's the rest of our work week shaping up to look like? I'm going to be breaking down all the details you need to know coming up soon. Chelsea. Well, going ahead, checking in on your forecast once again, we do have potential tropical cyclone number 9. Again, the National Hurricane Center began issuing advisories on this system at that 10 a.m. update. And so right now it has sustained winds of 30 miles per hour, gusting to 40, and just tracking towards the west at 16 miles per hour. Now, the system's staying to the south of us, so we're not seeing really much in forms of impact, especially in terms of the rain and the wind. We're starting to see some of those isolated showers, but really not impacting much. The impacts we'll see: rip current risk today and tomorrow. So make sure you're being cautious in case you're heading on down towards the coast, especially if you're visiting us. It's going to be a good day for the pool. Now, checking in on the track for this system, expecting it to stay on the weaker side heading into the overnight hours, but then beginning to get a burst of some of that energy there right before making landfall, potentially becoming a tropical storm right before it pushes onshore just closer towards Mexico and Texas. Now, that's going to be a tight cone there right now. Really, the National Hurricane Center focusing in on that southern portion of Texas just closer towards Corpus Christi with those maximum sustained winds around 45 miles per hour. So a weaker end tropical storm. The next name would be Harold, and we'll continue to monitor as it continues into tomorrow morning for that potential landfall. Again, locally, our impacts expecting those mainly to be rip current risks. And in case you're wondering what happened to all the other names here in the tropics, well, just in the past 24 hours, just yesterday, 3 different name systems all formed. Now, taking a look at one of our futurecast models, heading further on into this afternoon, we continue to see it tracking further towards the west, weakening just slightly, and then beginning to look a bit more lively just before it begins to approach closer towards Texas there on that southern portion. Again, Brownsville, Corpus Christi, mainly the ones going to be seeing the impacts from the system. Lower tiers, so the sustained winds around 45 miles per hour. And then by the time we get into lunchtime heading into tomorrow, it's pushed far inland, just closer towards Mexico and closer towards El Paso. Once we make our way into Wednesday morning, everything's fizzled out and things are calm and quiet. Now, taking a look at the bigger picture out there, what's driving it towards that western track? Well, really, we're starting to see more of that high pressure in place here locally. And so that's what's creating that heat heat dome, keeping everything away from us, tracking it further towards the west. And also that's impacting what we saw from Hillary just yesterday, where it made landfall just closer towards Mexico, tracked through California, and is now making its way into Nevada. So that's also the driving factor for that system that's continuing to push it further towards the north. So really this heat dome, it's influencing a lot. The biggest thing for us is going to be this heat that we see heading closer towards the weekend. Now, I mentioned the rip current risk. This is going to be our biggest impacts from PTC 9. High heading into today and tomorrow. By Wednesday, they're dropping to moderate, and then heading into the weekend, they're back down to low, looking great. Do just be cautious, however, of those jellyfish out there. Now, coming up in just a little bit, I'm going to be talking more about the forecast, the heat that we're expecting for this week, and our full 7-day outlook. All that's coming up soon. Joe.